Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi is attending the 50th edition of the G7 meeting in Italy. It is his first visit to a foreign country after recently assuming office as the Prime Minister of India for the third consecutive term. In his first bilateral engagement in Italy, Prime Minister Narendra Modi met French President Emmanuel Macron on the sidelines of the G7 summit. The two leaders reviewed the India-France relations, focusing on the Horizon 2047 roadmap and the Indo-Pacific roadmap. Discussions included cooperation in defense, nuclear, space connectivity and enhancing people-to-people ties. They agreed to further intensify strategic defense cooperation with increased focus on Make in India. Now, France is India's second largest arms supplier and has been one of its oldest and closest partners in Europe for decades. After his meeting with Macron, PM Modi held bilateral talks with UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak and Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky on the sidelines of the G7 summit. Modi is attending the summit as an outreach country, focusing on significant global issues impacting both the global south and the world at large. He is also scheduled to hold bilateral meeting with his Italian counterpart, marking their second meeting after Meloni's visit to India back in March last year. US President Joe Biden and Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi are also poised for a potential meeting during the G7 summit, as revealed by America's National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan. According to reports, when the two leaders meet, there is a possibility of them also discussing the foiled murder plot against Khalistani separatist and a dual US-Canadian national Gurpatwant Singh Pannu, which, according to America's National Security Advisor, is a continuing topic of dialogue between the United States and India, including at very senior levels. Moreover, Prime Minister Modi will participate in a summit session titled Artificial Intelligence, Energy, Africa, Mediterranean, which will be hosted by his Italian counterpart. This session will also be joined by Pope Francis. Now, among leaders of the G7 countries, no less than 6 of them are at present facing serious domestic challenges. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky addressed the elephant in the room. Speaking at the summit, Zelensky stressed on unity among allied nations. The Ukrainian president said, and I'm quoting him here, "If a nation is with us, then the leader, no matter who it is, will also be with us in the struggle for freedom."
A nation elects its leaders, it elects its presidents. And I think that whoever the nations elect, foremost, I think everything depends on the unity within this or that country. If a nation is with us, then any leader will also be with us in the struggle for freedom.
Meanwhile, US President Joe Biden faces a tough re-election in November this year. Biden's public approval ratings this month fell to its lowest level in almost 2 years. A Reuters poll showed 59% Americans disapprove of the incumbent president. Coming to Rishi Sunak now, his job as the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom could be in jeopardy come elections in the country in July. His early exit from the D-Day commemorations have added to his troubles. A recent survey by YouGov shows a record 72% Britons have an unfavorable opinion of the Prime Minister, against 21% who have a favorable view. This brings the net approval figure to -51. As for Emmanuel Macron, his party suffered a massive defeat in the European Union elections. Marine Le Pen's national rally registered a landslide victory, taking roughly double the votes secured by Macron's party. And to make things worse, Macron has called for a snap election in July. This at a time his approval rating is at its lowest since December of 2018. The survey by eLab for Daily Les Echos showed that only 24% people interviewed trust Macron to tackle the problems that plague France, down 5% since May. Coming to Germany now, Germany's Olaf Scholz, who reached Italy after leading the centre-left SPD to its worst ever European election result. Not just that, the plummeting popularity of his coalition government may force Scholz to call for snap elections, much like Sunak and Macron. His approval rating stands at 25%. And then there is Canada's Justin Trudeau. The longest-serving G7 leader has few unique problems of his own, including fatigue with the Liberal parties and a series of scandals. The country goes to poll next year. Trudeau is set to contest with a record low approval rating of 30%, as per a survey by Morning Consult. Japan's Prime Minister Fumio Kishida's situation is no different. Marred by scandals, his cabinet rating has dropped to 16%, as per GD Press Public Opinion Survey. It is the lowest ever rating for the cabinet since he took charge. For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.